change for the St. Louis Cardinals. Luis Alicea has gone in the left field, and he will bat in the 9th position in the batting order as Rene Arocha comes into the ball game, and the Cardinals use a double switch.
Arocha will be employed in the bullpen for a week. He was hit by a line drive on the ring finger of his left hand. This is his first appearance since then. He was 3-0 as a starter. And a very interesting story, a member of the Cuban national team, and he defected a couple of years ago. The Cardinals were interested, and here he is in the big leagues.
3-0 with 3 game starts, his first relief appearance for the Cardinals, and he'll be pitching to Bobby Bonilla. Last year he pitched at Louisville, his only year in professional baseball, and he was 12-7 there. In 25 game starts, he tied for the league lead in wins. He was 3rd in ERA and 3rd in strikeouts. And that pitch is ball, and that's 1 ball and 1 strike to Bonilla, who is 0 for 2. Mets leading 4-0. They've out hit the Cardinals 6-2, and that's a strike. And it's 1-2.
In April of 1991, that was about 3 months before he defected. He won his 100th career game for Cuba. 1,000 strikeouts for the club. He was the 15th pitcher in the history of the Cuban national team to win 100 games and to strike out 1,000. He defected on July 10th, 1991.
And a fly ball to left field. Alicea is over there, and he puts it away. So 1 out, and that'll bring up Howard Johnson.
Arocha, 27 years old, born in Havana, as Jeff Torborg is out to talk to home plate umpire Tom Hallian. What could this be about?
So Howard Johnson will be the batter. Howard with a base hit and a run batted in 2 at-bats. 3 for 9 so far in this 3-game series. Mets leading 4-0. And the pitch is called a strike. And a ground ball hit to the first base side. Good plan up by Jeffries. He throws to Arocha, and he makes the play at first base for the out. So no matter whether you speak English or don't speak English, the communication is the same between the first baseman and the pitcher covering on that play. International language.
I said Tom Hallian was behind the plate. That's Steve Ripley, the home plate umpire. Correction there.
And the batter for the Mets will be Chico Walker, who is 0 for 2. And that's strike 1. Walker came into this game as a right-hand batter, hitting .462, as a left-hand batter, hitting .158. So he's on his weaker side, with the right-hander coming into the ballgame. Ball fouled off at strike 2. That's trying to salvage the final game of this 3-game series. They've had a road record of 5 wins and 10 losses. Two strikes to count. And the fastball fouled back into the stands. We've mentioned the fact that we have an outstanding crowd here today, as the sun is finally breaking through. When the Mets arrived, it was raining. It rained through the first 2 days, and finally seeing some sunshine here in St. Louis. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You've heard of winning the lottery, perchance. Well, the Cardinals won the lottery when they acquired Arocha, because there was a special lottery that was held to obtain the rights to sign him, and the Cardinals won the drawing. Obviously, he was a free agent. No way to draft him because he didn't go to high school or college in this country.
And you couldn't draft out of Cuba.
Right.
So the strikeout ends the inning, a 1-2-3 inning. And the score at the end of 6. It is the Mets 4 and the Cardinals nothing. Here's a word from your Tri-State Toyota dealer.
The Toyota Comedy Festival is about to start. And I want to thank Toyota for sponsoring it and for making this truck. It's better than a limo. You can't get a couch in a limo. I've worked bar mitzvahs and meat market openings, but never the back of a truck. This month, with the money you save, you can put anything in back. 1,700 pounds of cargo, 2.4 liter, 116 horsepower, and the world's largest sunroof.
One more time, please.
When I started this commercial, I was clean shaven.
Up on the roof, when this whole world starts getting me down, and people are just too much for me to face. I climb way up to the top of the stairs, and all my cares just drift right into space. I get away from the hustling crowd and all that rat race noise down in the street. On the roof, the only place I know.
New Club World. Let all your cares drift right into space.
So let's go up on the roof.
British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Small. Big. Small.
Bottom of the 6th, the Mets leading 4-0, and for the Cardinals, Luis Alicea will be the leadoff batter. Alicea batting for the first time. Started in left field for the Cardinals yesterday and was instrumental in their victory 6-5 over the Mets as he drove in the winning run of the ball game with a sac fly. He also was 2 for 4. He's hitting .422 in the early going of this season. Hits that ball off the end of the bat as Pete Schurig gets a strike. It's 1-1. That pitcher ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Alicea in his last 11 ball games has had 12 hits in 23 at bats, so he's batting better than .500 over his last 12, and that ball fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, we talked about Ozzie Canseco and the problems he's had in left field, and Joe Torre wasting no time with the double switch, putting Alicea out there, batting him 9th and Arocha 7th.
And it's hit hard into center field. Gallagher a good jump, and he hauls it in. On the Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary, Gallagher's solo home run, Schurig's 2-hitter. And here's Gallagher getting his first home run this year for the Mets and his second in 2 years for the Mets. And for the Cardinals, Langford has the only 2 hits of the game for the Cardinals as the Mets lead 4-0. Our Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary. And the batter, Geronimo Pena, takes for strike 1. Pena 0 for 2. And that's strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Pete Schurig back again, and it's chopped out to third. Johnson coming in, takes the high hopper, throws quickly to first for the out, and 2 men away. That will bring up Ozzie Smith, who is 0 for 2.
Notice how many 2-strike counts Shurik has today.
Really pitching ahead in the count.
Strike one, the biggest pitch in baseball. Talk about breaking balls behind in the count and strategy and all that. You throw strike one continuously, your chances go up dramatically to win.
Coming into this game, Shurik had given up 39 hits in 25 2/3 innings, and the opposition hitting .322 against him. This has been one of his best major league ball games to this point. He misses low 1 ball 1 strike. He did pitch a 1-hitter in 1991. That was on September 11th against Montreal. The 18th Mets pitcher to pitch a 1-hitter. The only hit was by Ken Williams, a single in the 5th inning as he won that game 9-0. He was the first Mets rookie to pitch a 1-hitter since Doc Gooden had pitched a 1-hitter in 1984. That was against the Cubs. Keith Moreland a single in the 5th. No Mets pitcher has ever pitched a no-hitter. Ironically, he's the only Mets pitcher to pitch a shutout in his first start and still win more games. So the third hit as Smith singles into left field. And that'll bring up Ray Langford, who has had the other 2 hits in the game.
When a hitter is ahead in the count, if it's 1 ball and no strikes, 2 balls and no strikes, 3 balls and 1 strike, something like that, you have a freer swing because it's a fastball that you're more often than not going to get instead of a breaking ball. The pitch is more predictable, and your swing is a lot looser. It's a freer type swing. It's not a defensive swing.
Case in point is Ray Langford, a 3-run home run off of Doc Gooden yesterday on a 3-1 pitch. He said in the paper today he was looking fastball. He got it and put it out of the ballpark. You can guess when you're ahead in the count. If you're wrong, you can't really be hurt unless you swing at the pitch and do something you don't want to do with it.
Yeah, and obviously with the count, no balls and 2 strikes or 1 and 2, then you're put into that defensive posture. And you can't afford to guess, because if you guess wrong, you're out.
1-1 is the count, and it's called a strike. 1 and 2. A little more sophisticated word is anticipate, but I asked Ted Williams if he ever guessed, and he says, I guess I guessed. One of the great lines I've ever heard of Ted Williams. I guess I guessed. You better believe he looked for pitches. There goes the runner, but the ball is fouled off. So Smith, attempting to move on the pitch, will come back to first. Ted Williams studied pitchers as well as anybody alive. And another one that was one of the great students of the game was Hank Greenberg. He anticipated pitches constantly and was right so many times. 58 home runs one year. Now the pitch back to Langford, line to center. Another hit for Ray Langford, his 3rd in this game and his 8th in this series. Smith goes to 3rd base and makes a little bit of a move to come home when the ball got away, but then decides against it.
Well, he had 3 hits on Tuesday, 2 hits last night, and this is his 3rd hit this afternoon. Hanging breaking ball. Popping one into center field. Ozzie Smith goes to 3rd, and that opens up 2nd base. And now Eddie Murray going to play behind Langford at first base? I don't think so. Look at Eddie Murray. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking into the Cardinal dugout. But you play behind Langford and he'll steal 2nd base on you. I don't care how many runs you're ahead.
Yeah, you can't afford to let him get into scoring position here as we have a conference at the mound. Mel Stoudemire going out to the mound, and action starting up in the bullpen for the Mets. You saw Joe Torre, and Jeff Ennis is now throwing for the Mets. First time that the Cardinals have had consecutive hits in an inning.
He's going to play behind him. He ought to hold him on. Langford, one of your better base stealers. Now he's moving in. Can't afford to play behind him. If he steals second base, then a base hit that cuts a lead in half.
Now Langford, a tremendously fast runner.
86 stolen bases in 2 years for the Cardinals, his first 2 years.
And a swing and a miss as Jeffries goes after that pitch. A good changeup, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeffries in this game 0 for 2. 3 for 10 in the series. Langford, a pretty good sized lead at first, does not go, and the pitch is low and inside, and it's 2-1 to Jeffries. Jeffries tied for the club lead in home runs with 6, and second in runs batted in for St. Louis with 20, 1 back of Mark Whitten, who is the on deck batter. And it goes to 3-1. So now Shurik working himself into trouble here. A walk would put the time run at the plate. On deck batter is Mark Whitten. Three balls, 1 strike. And a good changeup again, and it's 3-2. So the runner will be running with the pitch at first base as the count goes full.
Good changeup right here on a 3-1 count. Now you can throw Jeffries anything you want.
Murray drops behind the runner at first.
Often if you throw the changeup to get to 3-2, then you come back with your fastball. That's pretty good pitch selection.
The runner goes, and the pitch is in there. Strike 3 called, and a big strikeout for Pete Shurik as he gets out of the inning, leaving runners at first and third. The score at the end is 6. The Mets 4 and the St. Louis Cardinals nothing. And here's a word from Bud Light.
Bud Light Spotlight is rolling back into New Jersey, and that means you could be the star of a Bud Light commercial.
You guys need me in your commercial. I'm Hollywood material. Ain't that right, baby?
I love my Bud Light. I love it.
Bud Light. Bud Light.
Just look for the Bud Light Magic Truck and the Bud Light Film Crew.
What would I do to be in a Bud Light commercial?
And get ready to see your name in lights.
Any faucet can turn on water. Kohler faucets give it shape. Change the flow. Once you turn on a Kohler faucet, you'll never want plain water again. See your plumbing contractor for all Kohler products.
What's new at Mobile? Let's take a look.
Introducing new Mobile Super Plus detergent gasoline. It still cleans fuel injectors and intake valves.
Now it helps keep the very heart of your engine cleaner. Down here, the cylinders and pistons.
So come down to the Big Red O and drive your engine clean with new Mobile Super Plus, the detergent gasoline.
Find out why one for the road is one too many on the next Real Stories of the Highway Patrol.
Tonight at 11, right here on Channel 9.
Top of the 7th, the Mets on top by a 4-0 score, and a man who was tops here in St. Louis for many years, Tim McCarver, with the play-by-play.
All right, Ralph, thank you very much. 6 hits for the Mets, 4 for St. Louis, 3 of those by Ray Langford. The other by Ozzie Smith as Charlie O'Brien hits one to Ozzie Smith, and a nice play by Greg Jeffries. I think Smith wanted to one-hop it over there. He did, but it was one of those in-between hops. One out.
He didn't want that half hop over there. That was a tough throw to handle by Jeffries. He makes the backhand swipe, which is about all he can do, and He finds it staying in the glove. Good play by Jeffries at first base.
That was a great shot right there. When you're coming up, you almost have to soften the hands and give with the ball. Ozzie Smith again. He throws out Tim Bogart. 2 pitches and 2 outs here in the 7th inning of a rapidly moving ball game. Take one more look at that Greg Jeffries play and watch how he just softens the hands as he comes up.
Opens up that glove as wide as he can, and then the glove automatically closes. That's the way they make them today.
I love your description of a play like that. It looks like he's using a cesta, right?
Cesta, yeah. High lie.
0-1 to Pete Schurig. Nothing in 2. Have you ever been to a highline match? I haven't.
I've been to many.
Those guys are pretty good athletes.
They're fantastic athletes. Never forget the time that I was running the San Diego Baseball Club, and we were trying to get people in the stands. And so on a Sunday, between games of the doubleheader, I had Rocky Colavito playing for me, and I had a contest between highlight players from Tijuana and Rocky Colavito. Rocky was to throw the ball, see how far he could throw it, and the highlight players would throw it with a cesta.
Wow.
And Rocky
a baseball or their little pelota?
They used the pelota. I think the baseball would have been too heavy. And we'll get back to that story later.
Okay. Right after this, from Macy's, 4-0 Mets.